WandaVision has more Easter eggs and references than the LA Chargers have fans, which, to be honest, isn't saying much. The show is constantly making nods to not only Marvel content, but to many classic sitcoms, taking on all their typical tropes and blending them all together. Some of these references are even pretty meta, with actors or their relatives from classic sitcoms appearing in WandaVision. But how many sitcoms are referenced exactly? Well, in short, a lot, and to be honest, we'll probably miss a few, but let's get the counter ready and give it a go. Spoiler warning! There will be WandaVision spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to have your spoiler-free life snapped away, turn away now. Life is unfair. Let's start in the middle, shall we, with Malcolm in the Middle, a show from a time where people mostly associated Bryan Cranston as the lovable eccentric Hal instead of a drug-dealing chemistry teacher.
Say my name.
The episode All New Halloween Spooktacular is a direct homage to Malcolm in the Middle, and right from the word go, the show parodies Malcolm in the Middle's opening credits. You know the one I mean, right? Yes, no, maybe? You don't know? Shall I repeat the question? Get it? Because that's what they say in the title sequence? Anyway, the parody of Malcolm in the Middle doesn't end there, with the episode using a number of editing tricks, fourth wall breaks, confused expressions, and even a split diopter shot of Evan Peters on the couch, all of which refer to the classic sitcom. We see Wanda's love for Malcolm in the Middle grow in episode 8 when she watches the show while she mourns the death of her brother Pietro. It is in these moments that Wanda and Vision's relationship blossoms as he consoles her during this difficult time, and even a synthezoid such as Vision learns the brilliance of Malcolm in the Middle. I did kind of hope, though, that when Vision tried to leave the Hex, he would yell, "You're not the boss of me." You know, like the Malcolm in the Middle opening credits again? Yeah, you get it. While in the all-new Halloween Spooktacular episode, only Wanda's children break the fourth wall, in the next episode, the aptly named Breaking the Fourth Wall, so do the adults. This, then, is clearly a reference to the popular mockumentary style of the early 2000s and 2010s and shows such as The Office and Modern Family. Again, the opening theme is a reference in itself, with the tune and style similar to The Office, although the title text looks almost exactly like Modern Family. During the episode, Vision is reminiscent of Jim in The Office, with his fourth wall stares almost like for like with John Krasinski, while Wanda is more reminiscent of Claire in Modern Family, with her interview styles and body language. Even Wanda's new kitchen looks just like Claire's in Modern Family. Unfortunately for everyone involved, there was no cameo from Ty Burrell. Maybe because he's already appeared in the MCU in The Incredible Hulk. Bet you forgot about that, right? Going back to episode 1 now, because to be honest, we're pretty loose with the timeline. The first episode pays reference to a number of classic sitcoms such as I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, Leave It to Beaver, and, of course, The Dick Van Dyke Show, which was a part of Wanda's childhood collection. The layout of Wanda's home is almost an exact copy of the one seen in The Dick Van Dyke Show, and Van Dyke even served as a consultant for WandaVision to make it as accurate as possible. However, the main storyline of Vision trying to impress his boss while Wanda struggles to maintain order is almost directly taken out of I Love Lucy, and the bedroom with the 2 separate single beds is also straight out of the show. This takes our sitcom number up to 7 so far. Of course, the one sitcom that is almost impossible to ignore is, and this is a tongue twister, the show Bewitched, which centers around a witch who marries a mortal man and starts a normal suburban life. Again, the main reference is in the title credits, with the animated opening to Don't Touch That Dial being a direct reference to Bewitched. The practical effects used for magic in the opening episodes is also a reference to Bewitched, which relied on these sorts of effects in the days before CGI. The plot in the Don't Touch That Dial episode as a whole also refers to Bewitched, with Wanda using her real magic on multiple occasions to make people think that it's all fake. The episode's dramatic shift to color, though, is a nod to I Dream of Jeannie, which also made this change, bringing our sitcom number up to 9. Remind me for a second, who's the villain in WandaVision that's been messing up everything?
It's been Agatha all along.
Oh, that's right! How could I forget? Agatha Harkness is obviously a character in the comics, but her reveal as the show's true pot stirrer was a reference to the classic shows The Addams Family and, of course, The Munsters, with a transition to black and white, catchy riff, and on-screen text being almost exactly like The Munsters. Both shows are set around mythical and monstrous characters living in suburbia, despite leading strange lives. But, admittedly, none of them are monsters enough to kill Sparky.
And I killed Sparky, too.
Moving back again, because, as I said, we're all over the place with the timeline, and back to the third episode, now in Technicolor. The aesthetic and style used in this episode makes reference to quite a few sitcoms, such as The Brady Bunch, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and The Courtship of Eddie's Father. The house, now in Technicolor, is very close in appearance to the one seen in The Brady Bunch, but also during the 70s, sitcoms centering around raising kids became more prevalent, so it is fitting that this is the moment Tommy and Billy are brought into the mix. Furthermore, the doll that Vision practices changing diapers on also appears in The Brady Bunch, and the hexagonal collage of Wanda and Vision is also a reference to the show as well as the hex itself. The montage of Wanda and Vision shopping in town during the title credits is more reminiscent of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, while the tune seems to be plucked from The Courtship of Eddie's Father. The end of the episode also includes the song Daydream Believer by the Monkees, who starred in a sitcom about their careers as musicians, bringing our sitcom count to 15. Fun piece of trivia though. The name of Wanda's doctor, Dr. Nielsen, is actually a reference to the Nielsen rating, which is used to determine the size of the audience during broadcasting.
I'm sorry?
You want me to hold the babies? Should we just take it from the top?
On a very special episode now, which has so many sitcom references in it that our sitcom counter is about to soar. Slight over-exaggeration, but still. Starting off with one of the best ones, during the title sequence, we see the family running across a field just like in Full House, which of course starred Elizabeth Olsen's older sisters, Mary-Kate and Ashley. But also in the title sequence, we see the family standing still for a painting to be produced of them, which is very clearly a nod to the sitcom family ties. Also in the intro, both the lyrics and the use of imagery is also reminiscent of the sitcom Growing Pains. The interior of the house in this episode looks similar to Full House, but on the outside is much more reminiscent of the sitcom Step by Step, and Wanda's style in the episode is also reminiscent of the show. And lastly, these next few references may be tenuous, as it's not clear if they're direct references, but we're gonna go ahead and add them in regardless. We are talking, of course, sitcom cameos. Now, while Randall Park and Kat Dennings are established MCU characters as Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis respectively, both have appeared in popular sitcoms in the last few years, with Park starring in Fresh Off the Boat, while Dennings of course co-led Two Broke Girls. And many fans have joked that the multiverse will kick off a crossover between the two shows. Deborah Jo Rupp, who appears as Mrs. Hart, starred as Kitty Foreman in That 70s Show, as well as Alice in Friends. And while we're on the subject of Friends, that's actually David Lengel playing Phil Jones in this series, and not David Schwimmer, as some people on the internet believe.
Fine by me!
As of right now, these are the only ones I'll add to our sitcom counter, but it is also worth mentioning that both Kathryn Hahn and Evan Peters also appeared in sitcoms, with Hahn appearing in Parks and Rec and Peters appearing in The Office. So there we have it. WandaVision has referenced at least 23 sitcoms, but as we said, there are probably a fair few we missed. But it makes you think, what other Marvel characters would you like to see in a sitcom? I want to make a show with Korg, Groot, and Wolverine and call it Rock, Paper, Scissors.